So, good morning. It's Saturday the 18th of September 2021, and apparently there are 12 DeLorean cars, Back to the Future cars, made famous by Michael J. Fox, and there's supposed to be 12 of these arriving into Stormont this morning. The park run has just ended, and here's one of the cars here already. So every 5 years, usually 90 of these motors would arrive over in Belfast from all parts of the world, shipped over for a special rally. And I videoed one of these cars before on that rally, but I've never videoed more than one car. And because of the virus, obviously, people just couldn't get about the same way, and all the restrictions stopped the rally happening this year. So these guys thankfully have taken it upon themselves to run a mini rally of 12 cars here this morning. So two guys, David Abraham from Portrush Down and David Matthews from Dullingstown, got together and said we'll have a Northern Ireland DeLorean members club, or whatever they want to call themselves. We'll have our own get together, and there's 12 of these motors in Northern Ireland. Altogether, 9,000 DeLorean were actually built in Dunmurry, just outside Belfast, by businessman John DeLorean. Each of the cars sold, they were for the American market, and each of the cars sold for about $23,000. And today, if you wanted to get hold of one of these motors, you'd be talking about £40,000 they change hands at. So this morning the cars are doing a sort of a convoy from Newcastle to Portrush, and calling in at selected points along the way, and Stormont Parliament buildings and Belfast City Hall up there, or no, Stormont Parliament buildings up there and Belfast City Hall have been two of the places that they are calling in at before heading up to the north coast. Very distinctive gull wing doors, left-hand drive, which makes it difficult to see what's behind you, and very, very low to the ground vehicle. So they're supposed to arrive in here anytime soon, and I think the run is being sponsored, and money will go to Action Cancer. So Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox made famous these DeLorean cars, and they're iconic, and they're made in Belfast, and it's a pity that the business folded, because these cars never rust, and you know, apparently they're very, very pleasant to drive, very comfortable seating. And we've got Robert from Belfast, and he's showing me the engine in the back. And I mean, that's pristine. That's like it came off the production line.
Well, during the lockdown, I did a bit of restoration work on it, and went into what's called the Valley of Death.
Right.
Because this is the V6 engine here.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's a Peugeot Renault Volvo V6 Euro engine
Right,
made by
okay.
Duvrin.
Right.
And it was common, it was the Renault Alpine was the workhorse for it, and then
Right.
it was also in the Renault 25, the Peugeot 605 and the Volvo 700 series. So it's 6-cylinder and it's 2.8 945 cc,
Right.
and the valley is away down in here underneath the intake manifold.
And you were working at that?
Yeah, so a lot of the guys can strip all this out,
Right.
and you'd be surprised all the stuff, the clips and washers and
Oh,
socket heads.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Because once they get down in there, you never get them back again.
Yeah.
Because there's very deep valley in it. So it's a Renault engine, Renault engineering. It's Lucas Electrics. I mentioned earlier, but there's the glass fibre GRP
Yeah.
underbody,
Yes.
and it was made in 2 halves,
Right.
and then they fettled out all the different holes for all the different bits,
Right.
and then they put the 2 halves together, and they stapled them together.
Right.
Believe it or not, so the car's actually held together with staples. Because there you can see the original staples there.
Yes, yes, I certainly can.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, there was
Wow.
obviously glue in between as well.
Yeah.
It's not just held by staples. Also, there's the chassis, and you can see the grey epoxy resin on it.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. If that cracks or
Yeah.
gets hit with road salt, then it can eat into the steel chassis. But some of the guys will strip the epoxy and then galvanise them and then powder coat them.
Very, very advanced for 1980.
It was, well, when the car came off the line in 1981, it was the first car in Europe with a catalytic converter.
I mean, that was way ahead of the pack.
Yeah, that's the catalytic down there. So you couldn't get unleaded fuel in the filling stations here.
Right.
The factory had to have a special tank
Right.
with enough fuel so that they could put in to the cars and take them around the test track just once, and then load them onto the
But
transport.
if this was such an advanced car for its age, for the time, was there not somebody to step up to the plate, and whenever it all went belly up, to say this is a good car? I mean, it essentially was a good car, and buy the whole thing lock, stock and barrel.
Well, there were attempts, but the trouble was that the government at the time that had invested so much money,
They didn't
there
want.
was a change of government.
They didn't want to play ball.
No, it was a Labour government initiative that started the factory up.
Right.
In the meantime, Maggie Thatcher came along
And she
played hardball.
played hardball.
She even played hardball with the likes of Freddie Laker,
Oh,
with
dear.
Laker Airlines, who was the forerunner to the cheap transatlantic flights.
Right. Right.
Also, you've got to remember that there was a recession in the world car sales
Right.
at that time,
Right.
so nobody was wanting to pick up something.
It's a shame, isn't it?
You know,
It's a shame. But listen, many thanks for
very
your time and your knowledge there.
Not at all.
Thank you very much. I'll have this up on YouTube very shortly.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thought they were gold colour though, weren't they? They were not gold colour.
No, well, they made